Hiya, it's me again and welcome back to my channel, and I am here to talk about my own personal mental health journey with anxiety. So yes, I thought it would be good to kind of talk about my journey, especially since I have done prior videos with my two other friends about asking questions and really diving into how do we kind of move forward after diagnosis, and the questions that you may ask yourself during that, and also how can you be the best support system for a person that's going through that and everything like that. So yeah, so this is me talking about my own mental health journey with anxiety. So yeah, hope you enjoy. It was May 2015. It's been almost a year since I left university. I was 22 years old. I had a bit of a break from working, and so I kind of went back. I think I had like about 3 months off from working, and then I kind of went back into work for a retail brand called All Saints, which I was very excited about. So yeah, and from there, the months kind of leading up to my diagnosis, it was quite an interesting journey. I think this role really, it really brought out suppressed feelings that I had within myself, but also kind of new ones that I never thought that I would ever have. And I think as well, when you're in a new situation and in a new role, but also having to transition into a new stage in your life, which is the world of work, after being in such a structured way of living from the ages of 4 to about 21, it's all on you. So I think with all of that thrown into it, with all that change, I felt like it really just did have like a big kind of toll on me a little bit. But I think also the treatment of me as well. So working within this brand, it was very much about the way you looked, and also about sales and about making money and about image. And I'm the complete opposite of that. I'm very much driven by passion, enthusiasm, and also inspiration, all that kind of good stuff. So it kind of felt like my own mission and ethos was compromised because of this, and I kind of felt the pressure to look good, and to also just kind of like reach these standards that I know that I can't physically meet. Because for one, I will never ever be the Eurocentric beauty standards, because why? I'm a dark-skinned black woman, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's one of those things, it's just like, for such a long time in my life, I have accepted that, and I've dealt with that, and to have to be faced with that really made me kind of view myself like, who am I? I'm not beautiful, I'm not worthwhile, I'm this and that and blah 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 blah. And also just the pressure of having to keep a job and knowing that you have to do this, and kind of feeling like this is the end all be all. So yeah, anyways, it wasn't the best situation, and I think my friends could start to notice that I was kind of, my behavior and my attitude was changing a lot with them. A lot of the time I'll call them literally hysterically crying one moment, and the next minute I'll be acting as if nothing was happening. And I think that was definitely a coping mechanism for me at that moment. But also I was drinking a lot, I was partying a lot, just to while working as well. Like I would literally be out to whatever o'clock in the morning and go to work afterwards and repeat and just drink so much and still function. And I don't know how the fuck I was functioning at this time. And just like the way I was just behaving was just abnormal for me, for my friends to see. And just losing, and also I lost a lot of weight while I was working there. I lost about a stone within a few months of working there, and just changing. Even when I talk about the story, I just feel like it's just like, it just makes no sense, and it's like irrelevant. But like, I think it's just a representation of the way that the mind works when you try and kind of think about that period in your life, because it's such a blur. It's really such a blur to even think about and talk about, and especially when you break it down. Anyways, so yeah, so all that was happening, and then there was one day I remember specifically at work. I was by myself, and this is what usually happens as well. Because I worked on the menswear floor, and the menswear team were a very small team compared to the women's wear team. Most of the time, a lot of us that worked on menswear would be by ourselves for hours and hours on ends. I just remember this so specifically. I just felt really off that day, and I just didn't feel right at all. I just felt on the verge of just a breakdown, and that's exactly what happened. So one of these regulars that used to shop at our store came down, fucking annoying idiot, by the way, fucking annoying. And I just remember him just talking to me, and just everything was going a haze, and I just got so pent up. And I just saw one of my floor managers come down the stairs, and I literally just said to him, I can't do this. I cannot do this at all. And like I just broke down on the floor, started crying, and then I got sent home. And that was the beginning of this whole situation. So I told my best friend Stella, my best friend Priscilla about what happened at work, and they actually told me, I think you should go to the GP, SARTU, because this is something that you shouldn't take lightly. Like, this is not like you to be like this. Yes, you are an emotional person. Yes, you are a person that worries a lot, that is anxious, but I think you should go and just kind of talk to someone. And I was quite reluctant. I was like, really? Like, I don't think there's anything really wrong with me. Like, this is life. Like, I'm just going through a hard time at this moment. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I just went to the GP anyways. I'm so sorry. My nose is literally like running like a bitch. So I went to the GP and kind of spoke to him about like how I've been feeling, some of the thoughts I've been having, and just also the pressures I've been feeling while at work, and what happened, the incident happened at work as well. So yeah, and just me not really coping well, and just kind of like being like a machine. Like my body was doing all the work, but my mind wasn't really there, and I think that's what it was. And I think as well, like, let's just be frank, when you're in those times and moments of pressure and in those spaces, you do kind of start to wonder, is it even worth it, and if I'm even worth it? And I think I went through feelings of that, really, like, am I really worth it? Is this life really worth it, to live a life like this? And I think that's very true and honest. So I told him that, and he was like, well, shit, girl. He was like, shit. With this all being said, I'm gonna refer you to this facility for mental health, and it's called Time to Talk. And they had me do this little questionnaire about just like different questions that they asked. My questions are through the fucking roof, mate. Like, even when I was talking to my therapist, my CBT therapist, so I got referred to do conjugal behavioral therapy. That is a mouthful. Yeah, I got referred to do CBT with my CBT therapist person. Don't ask me her name because I can't remember. And she was lovely, and I remember my first ever meeting with her. It was October of 2015. So from May to October, a lot of things have happened within that, and a lot of kind of breakdowns and just different things, and this one, like, emotions and different things. So what's that, like June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months being in this place, all that happened. So yeah, so when I was even talking to her, I couldn't even breathe. I was just like, I am not okay. And so yeah, so for the next 6 weeks, I was doing CBT for every like alternative week. For 6 weeks, I was doing CBT and that kind of good stuff. And yeah, and I think, like, I don't even know how to talk about this. It's so weird, like, just to talk about this. And I'm just like, it's because it's like such a long time. It was such a long time to think 2015 to 2019. That's what, like 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago since I've been diagnosed. And what I can say is that, like, in those first like few months of being diagnosed, I think it was one of those things where it's just like I was living life as if like I was going to be cured straight away, and just like I was trying to actively do it. So I was actually trying actively to like help with my diet, and because me personally, I don't really take medication in general, so like to take anything like in that type of realm to help with my anxiety wasn't something that I wanted to do, because I don't even take paracetamol unless I have to when I'm like on my period at work. Has to happen. But yeah, I don't really take medication like that. It's just not my thing, and I have really bad gag reflex, so like I can't swallow anything. Yeah, so like I would like think like to eat healthier, and also like I bought this book called Calm that really did help. I downloaded the app to help me meditate. I started meditating, I started taking baths and taking like doing these different exercises, and also doing the exercises that my CBT coach helped me with to do, and blah blah, and she gave me homework and that kind of good stuff, and like being able to rationalize things, because when you get diagnosed with anxiety, especially my anxiety, I have a thing where I create irrational fears in my mind, so that's what happens. So yes, and yeah, basically, so I had a phobia at one point of being alone and like just being in place because of like the whole work situation, like of having that pressure of just being by yourself to create results when you can't do those things, do you know what I mean, and stuff. And then so I was trying my hardest to just really stay, you know, on that path and everything. But I think for the longest time I was just not accepting the fact that I had anxiety, and it's something that I'm gonna have to, oh my god, what's wrong with my nose? Like, this video is just like going to shit.